this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
Let's do it. Welcome everyone to another episode of Bus Stop Boys. I'm Zach.
And I'm Zahran.
Zahran, you recently saw Weapons, which just came out last weekend, the sleeper horror hit from Zach Cregger. What'd you think?
Such a sleeper that none of us picked it for our movie draft. We had many times to pick it.
And I feel like if I knew he was releasing a movie this year, I would have maybe thought about it, but it really slipped under the radar for me at least.
Yeah, and just because Barbarian was so good. So we had sophomore debuts from, Robert Eggers. We had sophomore debuts from Ari Aster. I think right now we are seeing his comeuppance, and I think he's actually going to be a lot more popular than any other of these like horror directors, because mostly coming from that humor part, I think he's going to launch to popularity just like Jordan Peele did. And I don't know if you heard about Jordan Peele like firing his managers because of this.
Yeah, or like I heard he lost the bidding war for this movie.
Yep. Yeah, it led to the demise of his managers, unfortunately. I think the last time I enjoyed a movie with the entire audience like this was with Conjuring 2. I don't know if... Or The Conjuring, not Conjuring 2.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this was the first time everyone in the theater was screaming. Everyone in the theater was laughing. Like, I think this was the first time I felt so in tune with the entire audience. So I want to say, give hats off for that. That alone makes this one of the best movies I watched this year, just for that theater experience. So, yeah, incredible movie. I think the acting was great from Julia Garner, Josh Brolin. The entire cast was excellent. I like the different point of views. I think it took it to another level from Barbarian, where the first half was one point of view and then the second half was a second point of view until the climax when it comes together. Here we're seeing 5 different points of views from many different characters. But this had many scares, many laughs, an ending you would not expect. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it quite a bit. Zach, I'll hand it off to you.
Oh man, I told you over text. I feel like Zach Cregger just mogged Ari Aster for like the best horror movie director title. This movie is huge. I think, like you said, this is probably one of my favorite theater going experiences post-pandemic, I feel like. And yeah, let's break it down. I'm gonna give you 3 things that Weapons did really well. First thing is it had the jump scares. So like I saw Eddington, Ari Aster's latest film. There weren't that many jump scares. Like it was kind of more like a drama and like about big ideas and whatnot. But like Weapons, like it has big ideas, but it still has jump scares. Like it's still scary, even when you know it's about to happen. I was still jumping in my theater seat, so that was definitely a thing. This is an awesome ensemble cast. No one had to carry, but Julia Garner did a really good job as the teacher. Josh Brolin did really good as like the angry father. And even like the other supporting actors all did really good as well. Like everyone is kind of bringing their A game. And then one thing this movie has is like a really good villain. I feel like give her like an Oscar nomination, Amy Madigan. And there's one scene where she had some really good lines and it's actually really creepy and scary. So I really appreciate that from this film as well. That wasn't really like in like the marketing material as much, and I wasn't sure like where exactly it was going to go, but she's a really good villain in this film. And like you said, here's a fourth thing. It's a really rewarding climax scene. There were like tears coming out of my eyes because it was like so emotional, but also I was laughing. Like you said, this is also a pretty funny movie, and I didn't realize Zach Cregger had like a history with like comedy and humor, so I want to hear more about that. But it's a funny movie, but with a really good ending, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm like, I feel like this is like basically like a 5 out of 5 for me. Just jump ahead to the rating. This is a really good movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel the same way. Like, definite 5 out of 5. Great performances all around. Great direction all around. Negative things are keep popping into my head because the entire
Okay,
movie was just so positive that now I'm focusing on the negatives. So you know what?
sure.
You've seen us enjoy this. I'm just gonna go into a few negatives and let me know what you think, Zach.
Okay,
Um,
yeah,
I think that the kid's flashback, um, like his point of view part, was a little drawn out. I feel like they could have cut down that part a little bit. I know it was to like build up the villain and like give us a little bit of the villain backstory. They could have. I was just like, you can get along with it. You get along with it. The pacing became a little too slow for me with him describing the entire haunting and everything like that. Um, that one
okay.
is one of my biggest negatives, I would say. They were pushing too much on the mystery, and then the revelation of the mystery just became so obvious at a point. I think they knew that because they kind of just moved along with it after they did the revelation. Because after that, they just went into like action, action, action. Hilarity ensues, kind of. But yeah, I like the balance of comedy and horror that this movie did. But those were two of my biggest negative points.
Yeah, I had like one eye open or like one ear just like to the ground in case there was a big twist at the end. Cause yeah, I also felt like I predicted the twist really early on in the film. I'm like, huh, I think this is gonna happen. And that actually happens. So like you're right. It is like a little predictable in that sense. And because of that, I was thinking, I feel like maybe the bad guy is gonna be a good guy, or there's gonna be maybe like some other like other third or second villain that's gonna pop out of nowhere at the very end. Because, like you said, like that wasn't really like the mystery wasn't really the focus. I saw other people also complain they didn't like what the mystery was or like what the villain ended up being. I think they wanted more of like a better reason for why the kids like ran out of the house in the first place. Okay, so that resonates with you. Do you want to talk more about that? That didn't cross my mind when I was watching, but like a lot of people pointed that out, and like I can see why you might think that.
Yeah, I think the mystery was so creepy and like all the jump scares that were involved for it to end
Yeah,
up being like a it reminds me of it. She reminds me a lot like the villain when they showed the revelation of her. It is what it is. I like, you know what? The mystery just was so good that once you revealed what the mystery is, it just becomes disappointing. And I think the director understood it because he kind of brushed away and went on to the next event. It didn't make it some big revelatory thing. And I think like you said, her acting was so good that I think the director was like, you know what? Let her cook, let her
yeah.
act and show like how scary she can be. And I know you're going to point out to one of the major scenes where she shows that like menacing, acting that
That's
she
a
does.
great word. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she nailed it and made the twist worth it.
Yeah, there's a really awesome scene. Again, spoilers. During I guess the kids flashback like chapter or whatever, where she's in control of the parents. She goes to the kid, and the kid's like, "You gotta stop," and she's like, "I control both of your parents. If I wanted to, I can make them eat each other." And like the way she delivered that, it was like so maniacal, so menacing. It was like, dang, this is like a true Hollywood like S tier villain. Like right in that moment, she had a couple other lines when she was delivering it. She just delivered it with like a stone cold delivery, and yeah, that was like super impressive. And I thought she did a really good job as the villain. For me, last year I saw a really good Korean movie called The Wailing, which is all about like witches and witchcraft. There's also horror and there's a mystery. So like when it was revealed there's a witch in this movie, I'm like, oh cool, now we're getting like the American witch. which is like I was like, cool, like let's see where Zach Cregger goes with this. So for me, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. I'm curious where he goes with this. Obviously, there's like no shortage of witch movies. I haven't really seen one in a while in a theater. It's probably been a while. It's been a minute, but I guess besides The Witch itself, one thing I should mention really quick is that I haven't seen that many horror movies. I feel like I'm late to the party, so I haven't seen The Conjuring, I haven't seen Hereditary, I haven't seen The Witch, so I gotta catch up. So I am reviewing this, but also maybe I'm not the best horror movie reviewer. But yeah, for me, the witch worked, and also the villain worked. So it's another reason I gave this 5 out of 5.
Yep. And one thing I also liked is that, this feels like everything that was happening felt very realistic and like a slice of life in America at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Like everyone's reaction was very realistic. Um, some things I'll give like a break for, like some of the kid's actions doesn't make sense, but he's a kid, so that's realistic.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he
Sure, fair.
that's a parental figure. Unfortunately, the witch isn't a parental figure to him, and was his aunt supposedly. So, he is following her rules and everything like that. A lot of things that the junkie does, also, I was a little annoyed by, but it also made a lot of sense because, like, he's either high or he's looking for the next hit. So a lot of his actions are of acts of desperation or acts of being under the influence. The police guy, he was also like, caught cheating, is scared of his father-in-law, who's also the police chief. So he's also like in a very bad place at the moment. So him making a lot of those actions also makes a lot of sense. So, it's really nice to see that, like, a combination of horror and levity and realism. One scene I really liked was Josh Brolin having that dream.
Yeah,
The Yeah, and then he wakes up and he goes like, "What the fuck was that?" And
yeah.
oh shoot,
That's hilarious. Everyone
spoilers.
in the theater's laughing at that moment.
Yep. Because I feel like that's exactly what all of us would do. I think it really this horror movie, just like Barbarian, is not having characters make dumb decisions purely for the sake of a horror movie. So I like that what Zach did.
He also has a really good first name, I have to say. Destined for greatness. Speaking of Zach, like, tell me more about The Whitest Kids You Know. Like, I didn't watch this back in the day, but it sounds like you did.
These were like sketch comedies, and it's really funny because,
Okay.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's following deep, like, in the same footsteps as Jordan Peele is.
Yeah.
Where Jordan Peele went from like a sketch comedy writer to a horror movie director, same writer director. I used to watch a lot of their skits like on YouTube when I was like in late high school, early college. It's really funny. Like, I think you should watch them. They're very out there, like very, very, very. A lot of the jokes, very surprised he wasn't given more criticism for. He did like some PCP jokes, some terrorism jokes, which like for 2007, 2009 was like very taboo, but he delivered them and they were really funny. So I very quirky, and you kind of see that quirkiness coming out in this movie.
Interesting.
So
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I had no idea about that. But the humor is there. Like, I was laughing like all along the way. And that's good because you don't want a horror movie that's like super serious. You want some like jump scares and some laughs, and this movie definitely provided that.
Yep. We haven't really got into the main three, like the top billing actors, by the way, in the movie. Um, Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, and Benedict Wong.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like, what did you think of their performances?
First, a question. So before the writer's strike, guess who was going to play Josh Brolin's role?
Pedro Pascal. Damn,
Yeah, yeah, dude.
I'm so good at these trivia questions.
Yeah, oh, so you didn't know that? You're just guessing.
No. I knew that. I just
Okay, cool,
learned
cool, cool,
that
cool.
like a couple of days ago
Cool.
because someone was like, Pedro Pascal was like promoting the movie. He's like, "Hey, promoting this movie, even though I'm not starring in it anymore." I
Oh,
think there
okay.
was like some
Okay.
scheduling conflicts, but thank God. I you know what? Let's get into it. Do you think Pedro Pascal would have been a better performance for this or no?
I'm gonna say no, mostly because for two things. One, I feel like he just doesn't look like as old as Josh Brolin. Like Josh Brolin being the dad just like feels more realistic. Um, like like he just has more like a father figure kind of deal. And also Pedro, like I know his personality is like really like warm and like really funny, likes to laugh, and like that's not the kind of role that's in this film. This film, someone whose kid just disappeared and he's like super pissed off and like kind of more like a Bruce Wayne kind of like persona where he like owns a business, is like trying to get revenge. So you need more of that in this role. And so I thought Josh Brolin definitely brought it.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. And I kind of glad he wasn't in it because there were so many Last of Us parallels. It was crazy. Like, if he was in this, there was
Oh,
a scene where they show like the ants getting infected by the fungus, which causes it to be mind controlled. That
right.
is actually literally the plot line of Last of Us. There are some places where, like, he loses his child. Pedro Pascal loses his child in Last of Us as well. So, and honestly, we just gotten so much of Pedro Pascal this entire year. It's nice to
Yeah.
get a little break from him. And I think maybe the scheduling conflicts helped him out so he's not too overexposed over the entire year. For that, I don't doubt that he could do it, but I think
Right.
Josh Brolin brought an element of himself into this, like from when he played Cable, from when he played Thanos, like
Yeah.
getting things done, no matter how popular or unpopular that those actions might be. Pretty much nailed it, and he has this power in his voice sometimes that really booms in
Yeah.
the theater. That are like, what about Julia Garner? What do you think of Julia Garner's role?
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's like the perfect alcoholic school teacher. Nails like both of those like personas really well. Looks like a teacher. Whoever did the costume design did a good job. Like that's kind of like what I envision like a 2025 elementary school teacher looks like. And then also like her character is complex. She's like dealing with alcoholism and apparently has like a history of like messing up at school and doing random things. So yeah, it's a horror movie, but it also there's complexity in these characters.
It was realistic. It made sense that a teacher who's very quirky, who has a lot of flaws and past history, if most of your students are missing, of course I would be suspicious of you, no matter how much lack of evidence there is that actually did something wrong.
It's a pretty good plot. Zach said in some interviews he was inspired by a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, Magnolia, from 1999. I think Tom Cruise is in that movie. A couple other famous characters. So there's also like a character. It's also like a chapter per character. But this is like even I think it comes together maybe even better than that movie. It's just like one storyline, and it's not like a neat like chapter one, then chapter two, then chapter three. It's like there's overlap and there's like filling in the gaps between what happened. In particular, like one scene that stands out is like when Magnet Wong's character like comes to like kill Julia Garner's character. You're just like, what the heck happened there? And so I think it's only revealed two chapters later. Maybe it was the next chapter, but it was cool to have to jump back and then reveal it, and then you see what happens. So this movie did a good job of putting all it together.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love the non-linearity that they did, and yeah, very PTA influence, but also like I think he took his previous movie and took it to the next level. Oh, I mentioned this already. Never
Yeah,
mind. Yeah, like instead of having two points of view, we're having five
right.
or maybe six points of views, and going through each chapter and going back and seeing what that character was doing in between. So yeah, I think that really enhanced the plot.
And what do you think
Man,
about the final scene?
I every silence that you've seen from me is me holding back and not talking about the final scene. All right, Zach,
like
you
the
want to give a
continuous
background of
camera.
what happened, like in the final scene?
Yeah. So what's interesting is that the young kid, forget his name, like Alex or whatever. He like almost becomes a witch. He realizes how his aunt wields the powers to control people. So like he basically redirects, I guess, the spell that the kids are under to go after the witch. And the witch immediately realizes what happens because the kids are coming after her. She's like, "Oh crap! Like my spell is broken." So she's running. She's running out of the house, kind of like the kids were like at the very beginning of the movie. She's going to other houses. The kids are following. the witch, and then like you were alluding to, I'm not sure what term it is. It's like a first person point of view. As the kids are running, like you're there with the camera's there with them. They're running through the windows. The camera like bursts through the windows. You're chasing after the witch as well. And like you can also hear the people in the house being like, "Oh my gosh, where these kids come from?" And wait, there's a man now because like Josh Brolin walks in too, and like their whole house is trashed. And then eventually they catch up with the witch and like totally dismember her. And yeah, it was just a really funny and super emotionally rewarding scene. The kids triumph, they win, and it was just a really good way to end the movie. And the chase made it really good and really memorable. It wasn't just like the kids took down the witch. It was also like there's just like really funny chase, and then you have a final defeat of the villain.
I was not trying to clock watch because I knew it was like 2-ish hours, but you know what it was? It was that Alex scene that was getting where I was starting to think about the movie's runtime because the pacing was getting a little slow. So
Yeah,
once they go back to Josh Brolin and Julia Gardner breaking into the house, I'm like, okay, movie's almost over. They're gonna have this big fight off against the witch, and then they'll probably prevail, or some weird twist with a horror movie usually happens there. We got
yeah,
none of that. There was none of that. Just the way they executed the final scenes was it made it go from being like oh nice 3 out of 10 good above average horror movie to this is one of the funniest best like horror movies I've seen in recent memory. Yeah, like you said, like the tracking shots where I think that's the scene, like the tracking shots where the
yeah,
camera's following the kids. It was just so cathartic what happened to the witch, and I was
yeah.
just like, yes, yes, like that. That is how you end a horror movie in a very different way than any other horror movie you've seen recently. So,
100%.
yeah. Um,
Okay, question for you because you know more about horror movies than I do, or like you've seen just many more. Would you call this a horror movie? Or would you call this a thriller? There's been some discussion of like, is this really like a horror movie or not?
no, no, I would still consider this a horror
Okay,
movie.
cool, cool,
There's
cool. Me
horror
too.
movies with like comedy elements in it. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree. There's still jump scares. It's like it has some of the humor. The villain looks like you said, looks like it almost. So like, or like Pennywise. So that definitely
Mhm.
adheres to a lot of like the horror movie conventions. I was thinking like Ari Aster's like latest film Eddington, that you could classify as a horror or maybe like a very dark thriller. So it's a very like dark movie, like a very dark outset. Like it is scary, but it's not in the same ways like this movie's scary. It doesn't have the same like number of jump scares. There's like not the same sense of humor. So that movie's like a little different. Maybe that one's like more on the edge, but I would definitely call Up it's a horror movie.
Yep, yep. No, agreed. I think we've had so many of these like atmospheric horror movies recently, like Nosferatu, The
Yeah,
Witch, Midsummer, and which has been excellent. I think this is one of the golden ages of horror that we've ever had. Long Legs too, right? Like this like atmospheric, slow
yep,
burn horror. I think we needed this change of pace with this movie, and that's
yeah,
why I think you're seeing a lot of people going like, "Oh, is this considered horror anymore?" Because their mentality of expectation of horror has changed so much because of the Ari Asters, because of the Robert Eggers, because of the I don't know Jordan Peele's of the world. Maybe Jordan Peele not so much. I think Jordan Peele is actually more aligned with this movie. And it's nice to see the theater engaged and not scared of making a noise. I think a lot of in Nosferatu, I'm scared of making a noise because I don't want to disturb other people's concentration on the movie. This one, I feel like I'm enjoying it. Like I went to go watch this movie alone, and I was enjoying it with the crowd around me. Yeah,
I'm
all
trying to think which one
together.
I like better: Get Out or Weapons.
Get Out.
Yeah, yeah, that one's just the go, just the classic. Yeah.
I'll ask you another. Would you consider this the best horror movie you watched, or Sinners this year?
I'm gonna choose this one over Sinners, but it's tough. It's tough.
Wow.
What about you?
I think Sinners is a better movie,
Yeah,
but
I was just thinking like
yeah.
Sinners has all the music. It's like more of like a complete experience. So like
Like I
that's a
think the
really tough one.
story is better for Sinners. I think
That's a
like
good point. These are good
yeah,
points.
like The direction is better. It was a lot more ambitious. I think
Yeah.
the acting has more highlights in it. But if
Yeah.
you were to tell me like, hey, let's go enjoy some horror movie, like, what should we watch? I think I'd pick Weapons over that, if that makes sense. So I'd say Weapons is a
Yeah.
better horror movie, but Sinners is a better overall movie.
That's true. It's just like a much more grand production. Like you're getting
Yes.
like your money's worth with Sinners. This is very true. I think Weapons, there's more of like an emotional payout because like we saved the kids, we killed the bad guy. It's like a little more like concrete in Weapons as opposed to Sinners. But yeah, Sinners has so many good things going for it. The cast, the music. That's also a really good movie. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think you have a good distinction of like a better movie versus like when you would rewatch again.
Exactly. Yeah, like, Dark Knight, right? Dark Knight I have to sit down and like focus and watch to like truly enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah,
Meanwhile, like Avengers, you can throw it on in the background, and like I don't know if I'd definitely consider Dark Knight a better movie than the Avengers, but the Avengers is something that is more accessible, I would say.
yeah. What else do we got? Hmm. Barbarians was like a $4 million budget. I think this was a $40 million budget. So David Zaslav like hooked up Zach Krieger with a nice credit line for this movie. So yeah, no, that was cool. It was cool to like have an ensemble cast and like Zach definitely had like the money to like make that happen. So that was cool to see him like do good things with that larger budget.
Yeah.
What's I had for you is his next movie is Resident Evil. Are you excited for that, or is it more like we'll just see what happens? Or
Yeah, I am actually very excited. I think he's
yeah,
going to bring the right type of atmosphere for Resident Evil.
yeah,
I mean, we had those movies in the beginning, which were great for like not great for its time, but like for video game movies in comparison to other video game movies, they were definitely above average compared. But his mentality of the like Resident Evil, the games do have some campiness in them, and I think he'll bring that
yeah.
campiness and accentuate on that in the movie he makes. I have high hopes for him. I am though a little sad that he isn't gonna make like more original take movies though. Like I
He says he's going to after Resident Evil. I mean, who knows? Like we're talking like now 5 years in the future, etc. Um, that is true because Resident Evil's IP. It's not like his story.
yeah. I do think I think it's like a one for you, one for me. Like he got the
Yeah,
big
sure.
budget original IP that he wanted to make, and
Yeah,
now he's like, hey, I'll pay it forward. I'm gonna make this Resident Evil movie for you guys. So yeah, but yeah, Zach, you want to do some final reviews and ratings?
yeah. Right before we do that, how did this movie do at the box office? Like, I don't actually
Oh,
know.
right, right, right.
I just
It made
enjoyed
back its
it.
budget for opening weekend, and its legs are like all those people possessed. It just keeps they're running and running and running. Like each day that I'm looking, the drops are like such low percentages.
Oh,
It's
cool.
already out. Yeah, it's already outgrossing Freakier Friday, which was Freakier Friday also did really
Oh,
well.
wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy, actually.
Yeah, and it's already outpacing. And I think like it's Monday and Tuesday. It's Monday and Tuesday showings were almost double what Freakier Friday was doing, way ahead of
Holy cow.
Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, we're gonna have to talk about that. Its legs are like horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Skip
no,
leg day.
excellent performance by this movie. What do you say?
Skip leg day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's skip leg day, straight up, straight up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
needed some. It needed to watch this movie for those legs, honestly. But yeah, Zach, you want to do some final ratings? I know you're frozen for a second there, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. You're frozen to me. It's
yeah,
all
yeah,
good.
yeah. We were both frozen to each other.
Yeah. I mean, I said it earlier. I'll say it again. I think this is 5 of 5 for me.
I think my recency bias in the beginning of the episode. I'm trying to thinking of the pacing a little bit. I'm gonna
Okay.
give this a
Okay.
4.5. Just missing being that perfect movie. Like
Very
not at
respectable.
yeah, not just at that like Dune 2 Nosferatu level. Ooh, we can talk about that later. But yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. But cool, Zach. You want to go to weekly recommendations?
Yeah. Totally. I don't really have any. Do I have any weekly recommendations? Do you want to go first? Maybe something comes to me.
Yeah. I'll let you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So my recommendation is I just finished the new Rick and Morty season,
Oh, cool.
and
Wow.
great is like they've had their highs and lows in terms of like seasons. But I think this was a really, really good season just for the story and just for the growth that they show in the family. I think Rick and Morty's always been a very cynical take and a very pessimistic take on the universe and like just, family relationships. But I think this season, and I think they've been building up on it. Rick, who's like one of the main characters, the grandfather in this story, right? You see him through the season becoming a lot closer and a lot healthier with the rest of the family. It's nice to see that growth. And it's not, they're still doing their individual funny comedy episodes, but they're also showing like an arc of growth within each character, not just Rick itself. I think you're seeing it with Rick. I think you're seeing it with Jerry. There's like a Jerry centric episode, which I think is one of the best episodes the series has ever created.
Wow.
So I'll just go through each five of them. Right, you see Rick being more healthy and opening up his boundaries to the rest of his family, not treating them as like being disposable, going to another universe, but rather fixing the universe he is in right now. You're seeing the mother coming more in tune with the trauma that she faced in the past of not having her father around and growing and accepting that, but also realizing that the father that she has now wasn't that father that abandoned her. So that was nice to see. It was nice to see Jerry becoming more independent, not being a punching bag Meg type character like you see in Family Guy. Growing a backbone and growing independent, and just being like you just grow more respect for him here and seeing the growth he has. You see Morty last he was getting given like a step back this season,
Yeah.
but having more respect for himself and like declining, advances from women who clearly don't respect him. So yeah, all five members of the cast did a great like had a very growth season this year, and I liked it. It wasn't there's definitely high moments in the season, but I would say like they step back the humor and let the drama play out a little bit more this season.
How many seasons? This is the last season, right? How many seasons were there?
No, it's not the last season.
Oh, okay,
They're
okay,
just
cool,
keep
cool.
going. It's like a Family Guy, South
Oh,
Park
cool,
kind
cool,
of
cool. Okay,
situation. They're just
okay.
going
Cool,
indefinitely.
cool, cool. Okay,
Simpsons
gotcha.
type.
Gotcha.
This is the eighth season, I want to say.
Cool. Okay, nice. Yeah, I thought I read somewhere it was like the last one, but maybe misread. Was there like a gap between seasons or?
There's a big gap from season 2 to season 3, but
Okay.
they
Yeah.
just exploded in popularity so much season 1 and 2
No.
that they just got more budget. Yeah. There. Oh, are you thinking of one of the writers and voice actors getting fired? Co-creators getting
It
fired?
might be. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That
Justin
that that was
Roiland.
like a while back. Okay, yeah,
Yeah. That was like I want to say 3 years
yeah,
back at this 3 seasons
yeah.
ago. But
Okay,
yeah, he
yeah,
he got fired for sexual harassment cases and like
yeah.
just
I remember
overall
that.
being a creep. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that high note,
Dude,
you want to give a Ricky recommendation?
yeah. No, dude. Work's been kicking my butt. I have like a feature launch coming up, so I don't have anything
Ooh.
major to toss in here. We can talk about Eddington like maybe another episode, or like maybe I'll do a solo recap. But I thought the
I'm
movie's
down for
interesting.
that because I'm gonna watch it over the weekend for sure.
Oh, okay. Then we can do like another episodes. But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
curious to get your take. It is like an interesting movie, so like I'll just leave it at that, and then we can discuss. Yeah,
Sounds good. Sounds good.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Eddington. I'll consider that it. Hey, to Zach's coworkers who are listening, do you see that? That's dedication. He has not watched a single other thing besides Weapons this entire week.
That's
Just focusing, grinding away on this. So,
yeah. Take notes, friends.
yep. On that note, Zach, it's been great. Do you have anything else to
As
add?
always, it's always a pleasure. Like and subscribe.
Always a pleasure. Like and subscribe. Love it. See you, Zach. On to the next one. Peace.
Cheers.